Hello and welcome to another wonderful edition of Eye on Port, where we bring Ghana's ports and maritime industry closer to you. It is proudly brought to you by Ghana Revenue Authority, Doyle PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link, Meridian Port Services, and Phoenix Insurance. Eye on Port is powered by Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Our media partner is the Business and Financial Times. Viewers, this week we got into a very interesting discussion, and that is the impact of digitalization on the health and safety of port workers. This comes on the back of the World Day for Safety and Health at Work 2025, which was also celebrated here at Ghana's ports. We will now take a look at that week-long celebration before we get into the discussion in the studio.
Fire! Safety first! Fire! Prevention pays! Fire! We rescue and salvage! Fire! Fire!
The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority joined the international community in commemorating the 2025 World Day for Safety and Health at Work, with this year's activities highlighting the impact of digitalization on workers' health and safety. Ahead of the main event, GPHA organized a week-long sensitization program across the port community, educating stakeholders on critical safety measures and the safe use of emerging technologies in the workplace. During the official ceremony, the Fire and Safety Department was joined by the Director of Port, Tibon Zuma, other management members, and selected staff from the various departments. Speaking at the event, Director of Port, Tibon Zuma, emphasized the need to integrate health and safety discussions into weekly operations meetings to help avert incidents and prevent accidents at the port.
For port operations, we meet every week. So in the operations meeting, is it possible that we can introduce electronic means to communicate matters of health and safety as part of the operations meeting every week?
Fire and Safety Manager Cynthia Ajaklo underscored the importance of prevention as the most effective approach to safeguarding workers' well-being.
No matter how advanced safety tools are, they are ineffective without a safety-first mindset. True safety begins with everyday actions like wearing helmets, checking equipment, and staying alert. It's a daily personal choice. For me, scanning for hazards in a new place, in a new space, is second nature.
Adding to the discourse, the corporate IT manager Justice Akodia highlighted the various digital solutions currently deployed across port operations and discussed their potential safety implications.
We have the ACVL implementation, which focuses on the worthiness of trucks. And we all understand that if these trucks that come to the port are not port worthy, there is a potential for breakdown. There are potential for accidents, and we have port users, including ourselves, in the port. So management thought it wise to collaborate with ACVL to introduce that innovation so that they certify these trucks so that when you are not port worthy, you are not allowed into the port.
Meanwhile, Senior Medical Officer at the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Dr. Kisi Domprofori, shed light on workplace ergonomics, drawing attention to the health risks associated with poor postures and prolonged computer use. A brief but impactful drama performance by members of the Fire and Safety Department also illustrated the dangers of poor sitting posture behind computers, further reinforcing the day's message.
Somewhere last year, I had a gentleman from one of the departments I won't mention. So he kept coming to the clinic with back pain. The gentleman is in his mid-30s, so I don't expect a man in his mid-30s to come with so much back pain. So we did our routine checks, we did our x-rays, we did our scans. They were all quite normal. So I asked him, what does he do? He says he's into graphic design. So you realize that graphic designers sit for prolonged periods on the screen to design. And I asked him, what chair do you use? He says he uses a regular chair. I said, that one will not work. Because sitting on a regular desk for prolonged periods is what has resulted in your back pain. So what we did in short was to recommend that they buy him an ergonomic chair, which was bought. And from that time till now, I haven't seen him at my clinic. So it means that really these things do work.
Deputy Port Fire and Safety Manager Andrew Taylor rounded off the program with a call for continuous education and adherence to best practices in both digital and physical workplace environments.
In order to promote a good safety culture in an organization, you need the commitment from leadership. And DP has demonstrated that very profoundly. And for me, that's a key takeaway, because that is going to translate down to those down there. When they see leadership committed to health and safety, they will also be driven to follow as such.
Prior to coming here, or in the course of last week, your team went around the offices, visited us, gave us some pep talks on, health and safety at work, and your postering and all that, and what you should be doing. And even distributed some leaflets, outlining some of the things that we should be doing while at work, so that we can ease, some of the challenges that we face in terms of sitting for long and all that. Did you foresee that this was one of the key challenges? For instance, I saw in one of the leaflets that you have to, when you sit for a while, you have to stand up, walk around a while and, stretch and all that. Did you foresee that this was one of the key challenges before you rolled out this particular, campaign?
Not necessarily, but, we do a lot of operational observations.
Right.
Yes, we go into the port, we observe how port workers or dockers work.
Yes.
We visit some of these offices and we see how they sit.
Yes.
You go to an office and you see people slouching in their chairs, sitting awkwardly, and basically, if you adapt these postures, obviously you are going to run into some of these issues. So it's because of our observations we've done over the period.
Yes.
And we're able to establish that these are key things that we need to highlight during this campaign. Yes.
All right. So in terms of your approach to fire and safety management, how has the increasing use of technology impacted that?
Let me take you back a bit. When I came into the port, it was in the 2000s or
yes.
so, most of port operations were done manually. Yes, you didn't have all these machines, these sophisticated machines all over. You see people, even when it comes to container operations, people get on board you have about 10 people who are actually guiding the spreaders to connect to the containers. And all these things were done manually.
Right.
So over the period, with modern technology, with the coming on stream, these mobile cranes and these STS and all that, all these things have actually improved port operations. Now, instead of needing about 10 or 20 people to do a particular job, just about 2 or 3 can do that job.
Yes.
And when it happens that way, at least it reduces the exposure or risk exposure to these dockers who are working on these cargo vessels. Also, we've tried to use these platforms, the Outlook platform, the WhatsApp platforms extensively, because these are all modern technologies that we have to disseminate information to staff. So over the period, we've leveraged on modern technology to improve upon how we disseminate information, safety information to staff.
All right, let me come to Mr. Akodi and find out from you how the IT department is collaborating with the fire and safety department and indeed other departments, to ensure to integrate digital safety into the broader safety culture of Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Yes.
So, as the Deputy Port Fire and Safety Manager just indicated, over the years we have seen a revolution in terms of the introduction of technology.
Absolutely.
We are aware of the cyber risk and some of the other risks that he talked about in terms of the continuous use of the screens and all of that. What we have been doing is education and awareness. In fact, there's something we call acceptable use policy. For every onboarding, that is, if a new employee is getting onboarded, you will be required to sign the acceptable use policy.
Right.
That contains some relevant statements on cybersecurity.
Right.
So we'll be able to protect the environment, also protect the IT assets that you're going to use. Over the period, we have used the electronic media we have, that is the emails, our social platforms, to disseminate information regarding cyber awareness.
Right.
In fact, somewhere last year, we embarked upon massive education and sensitization. In the process, we trained several staff.
Right.
And that is also continuing this year. So we are collaborating to a greater extent to make sure we all assist in this process.
Let's take a look at the main digital safety risks that employees must be aware of while working with, technology at work.
Yes.
I noticed these days you've done a whole lot. You've come up with some tidbits. Once you are in the office, your screen is there. This role, I mean, they are kind of like the screensaver or something.
Yes.
That's what you see until you enter your password, perhaps, to work.
Yes. Yes. So we've been doing a lot of that. Most of the risk, in fact, when you read a lot of literature around, you will get to know that most of the cyber crimes that occur result from people within the organizations. Okay, they are the ones who cause this. In that regard, there are specific things that happen. You have phishing mails that seek to steal some information from you. You receive an email and it says that it's from Dr. Dompre, but when you look at the way the mail is couched, you are not even expecting a mail from him.
Yeah, even the English alone is
very good.
So
we provide education in some of these areas. We have malware attacks that also come. We have ransomwares that would attack our systems, and then they would, in the end, want to demand some ransom is paid before they release you, so to speak. So we continue to increase education on some of these. I've talked about the insider threats, data leakage. Sometimes some staff do not know that all the data on the computers they are using belongs to the authority.
Yes.
And so there are attempts to probably take the data somewhere. So we'll continue to educate them on some of these areas. And in fact, that is one of the things you mentioned. Recently, one of the things we did was to introduce multi-factor authentication. So that what we're saying is that your normal username and password is not enough.
Yes.
There is a third layer, which is a code to your phone.
Exactly.
And I'm sure
that's what we use. Initially, in fact, the first day I got confused and I got angry. But I mean, along the line, I became very used to it. And then, so before I even enter my password, I open the authenticator on my phone, just waiting, so that once I enter and the number comes, I just the code comes, I just enter it and I'm good.
So with this, we are just saying that look, we are introducing digital solutions to ease the work you do, to facilitate it. But there is a little price you have to also pay as a staff so that we can all safeguard the properties of the authority, including our own selves anyway.
Now you sit in the consulting room almost on a daily basis. You consult for, you meet staff every day who come with various ailments and all that. Can you tell us what's the most predominant as far as this particular issue is concerned?
Okay, well, the issues are quite varied, depending on the department the staff is. But I can tell you for a fact that most of the people in the offices come with low back pain.
Okay.
We have a lot of people with eye pain, neck pain, shoulder pains. But the main issue we tend to see is low back pain. So as part of our workup for the patient, we always take our occupational history. And we ask, what do you do? How do you contribute in the authority?
Right.
So when we realize that your work is probably computer-based, then we'll take it from there. A healthy workforce points to productivity.
Yes.
So we have provided adjustable chairs for all the offices.
Right.
And for those staff who have, over the course of their duty, had various chronic musculoskeletal problems, we provided special ergonomic chairs so that they can sit through and do their work.
Right.
Staff also have access to occupational health clinics, and counseling services. And then the public health unit of the department also does a sensitization and then a campaign,
right,
so that people are aware of posture issues, how to sit, and all that. And then the authority has also provided a gym where staff are encouraged to exercise and to keep fit. And then lastly, we have specialist services and physiotherapy services at the International Maritime Hospital for staff who have developed musculoskeletal issues.
Right.
We advise that right from you sitting behind your PC, you should be properly seated. So your feet should be firmly, on the ground. You shouldn't be hanging. Your thighs should be parallel to the ground. Your back should be erect. You should have your lumbar support. And then your arms should be properly supported. Right. And some of the things we need to do to prevent injury is to do the 20-20-20 principle, which is to every 20 minutes look away from your PC at maybe an object about 20 feet away for about 20 seconds and then come back. All these helps the eyes to recalibrate so that you don't get prolonged damage. We also say that take micro breaks. So for example, I do an 8-hour shift. I'm not supposed to be seated for 8 straight hours.
Right.
So, sit for an hour, go for a little stroll, go for a little stretch, and then come back and then continue your work.
Right.
And then also that we should take our water breaks. We should make sure we are properly hydrated and all that. So I believe that with these simple measures in place, we should be all right to do our work.
Right.
So you just heard from Justice Akodia, who is the corporate IT manager at the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Dr. Kisi Domprofori, who is a senior medical officer at the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, as well as Andrew Stenor, who is a deputy port fire and safety manager here at the Tema port. They shared some recommendations on how we can balance optimizing digital tools while maintaining health and safety as port workers. Remember, this is the abridged version. For the full conversation, check with our YouTube at Eye on Port. Now let us hear a few comments on this subject after we will go on break and then return with more news. Stay tuned.
Jackson from Takoradi says, "Hello, Iron Port. This discussion is so timely. We often overlook how long hours and computers affect our backs and eyes. More awareness is needed at all levels." Bridget from Afenia says, "Kudos to GPHA for raising this issue. I think regular ergonomics assessment should be part of staff welfare now."
Energy brings you quality choices with Goil Super XP. Available in many Goil stations nationwide. It is fortified with special additives that help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Branch into a Goil station today and energize your ride with Goil Super XP, compatible with most vehicles. Goil Super XP. Wufilia. Huh? Wubefeel. Goil, good energy. Yeah, yeah.
Electricity. Then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, streetlights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302-246-319 or 0243-690-492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
Welcome back, viewers. Now let us take our local news segment. The Port of Takoradi has a new director following the official handing over of the position to Captain James Richmond Quayson. He succeeds Peter Amobediakon, who served in the role since 2023. A brief ceremony held under the auspices of the Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Brigadier General Paul Seidu Tanya-Kulono, marked the leadership transition. Captain Quayson brings decades of operational experience to his new position. Prior to his appointment, he served as General Manager Special Duties at GPHA. He has also held the position of Harbour Master at both the Port of Tema and the Port of Takoradi. His appointment is expected to further drive Takoradi Port's strategic development as it strengthens its role as a key hub for bulk cargo, oil and gas services, and maritime logistics along Ghana's western corridor. In his remarks, outgoing Director Peter Amobediakon expressed confidence in the position he leaves Takoradi Port in and called on management and staff to offer their full cooperation to Captain Quayson to ensure continuity and further progress.
I'd like also to congratulate Captain Richmond Quayson for his appointment to the Director of Port. I ask that you support him as he moves this port to a new era.
On his part, Captain James Richmond Quayson assured that he is prepared for the task ahead and urged management and staff to work together with him in repositioning Takoradi Port as a vital player in the international trade and logistics ecosystem.
Convey my gratitude to His Excellency for giving it fit, for giving me that honor, and I will deliver. I have come to work with you, management staff. I have come to deliver with you. Team Takoradi, we are one. To our able Director General.
Director General of GPHA, Brigadier General Paul Seidu Tanya-Kulono, reaffirmed the authority's commitment to the growth of both ports, assuring that Takoradi will receive equal attention and support as Tema. He encouraged the port's management to rally behind the new director to advance the authority's collective mandate.
Your predecessor made some requests about funding and other things. I'm looking at it, and I want to assure you that we'll see whatever we have to do.
The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority has officially commissioned a new office complex for the Ghana Dock Labour Company Limited in Takoradi. Construction of the facility began in 2022, aligned with GDLC's core mandate of providing the port with an efficient and reliable pool of casual labor. Speaking at the commissioning ceremony, the Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Brigadier General Paul Seidu Tanya-Kulono, described the event as more than a mere unveiling. He acknowledged GDLC's long-standing contribution in supplying disciplined, efficient, and dedicated personnel to both GPHA and the wider port community.
The construction of this office is a clear testament to your dedication, not only to efficient operations, but also to the dignity and well-being of our workers. This new facility will undoubtedly enhance coordination, improve service delivery, and provide better working environment for both your staff and clients.
The managing director of GDLC, Elisha Odum, expressed gratitude to GPHA and the engineering department for their support. He emphasized that the building is not only a symbol of GDLC's enduring partnership with GPHA and its clients, but also a firm commitment to prioritizing worker welfare.
Most importantly, to our non-permanent staff, it's at the back of you that we are having these projects done. This is the workers' house. It belongs to you, and we are hoping that you use it for the progress of the company.
Board chairman of GDLC, Roderick Okulu, highlighted the significant progress GDLC has made over the years, noting that the new office complex stands as a tangible symbol of the company's advancement and ongoing commitment to growth.
It is the expectation of the board that this facility will serve its purpose and result in increased productivity in the Takoradi office operations, especially as it continues to expand.
A team from the Ghana Shippers Authority, led by the authority's Chief Executive Officer, Professor Ransford Jampo, has paid a working visit to key institutions operating within Ghana's air cargo trade ecosystem. The visit, which formed part of GSA's ongoing stakeholder engagement initiative, included interactions with the Ghana Airports Company Limited, Aviance Ghana Limited, Swissports Ghana Limited, and freight forwarders operating at the country's airports. The discussions focused on issues of mutual interest and explored ways to enhance Ghana's international trade competitiveness by addressing high operational charges, improving cargo clearance procedures, and reducing the cost of doing business. Professor Jampo's first stop was at the Ghana Airports Company Limited, where he met with the Managing Director Yvonne Nana Efriye-Opare. She affirmed her commitment to ensuring that Ghana's airports are managed efficiently for the benefit of shippers and service providers alike.
We have a relationship with the Shippers Authority. They are here today to talk with us, have talks with us, and just align on our operating procedures and any other issues that we may have to address. We've had a good meeting.
At Aviance Ghana Limited, the GSA CEO was received by Managing Director Mark Kamis, who applauded the authority's dialogue-driven approach to resolving bottlenecks in the air freight sector. He revealed that Aviance is implementing a number of initiatives aimed at improving working conditions at their terminal.
We need to come together. There'll be dialogues, there'll be discussions, but I really like the collaboration and I certainly like the approach. So we find that quite refreshing. So thank you for that.
At Swissports Ghana Limited, Managing Director Gerald Sacklin highlighted a substantial investment made to ensure safe, efficient, and internationally compliant turnaround of cargo at their facility. He also raised concerns about Ghana's declining export volumes, a trend he attributed partly to the high cost of local production for exporters, which in his view is undermining the country's ability to attract many international cargo lines.
Operational excellence, obviously, in terms with the investment into equipment and machineries that we made, we try to keep a very high standard. So yes, we know we are probably the most expensive ground handler at cargo, but we feel that the service we give to the shippers reflects the investment we've made into our warehouse and the quality we can give them in terms of service, having their cargo quickly, getting invoices quickly, a good level of customer service, a low level of damage, missing cargo. So we're really proud of what we can do in that area.
Professor Jampo also held engagements with freight forwarders operating at the airport to gain first-hand insight into their operational challenges. The dialogue aimed to identify areas of collaboration that would lead to improved service delivery and ultimately reduce the cost of doing business for the average Ghanaian. The delegation from GSA held additional closed-door meetings with these stakeholders, allowing for candid discussions on the practical steps needed to reposition Ghana's air cargo sector as an efficient and attractive gateway for global trade.
Ghana Shippers Authority exists to protect the interest of shippers. So here you are talking about the many charges that are slapped on the kinds of things that they try to ship. And so we would fight for the ordinary shipper, but we must also not do so at the expense of those who provide shipping services for all of us.
Let us now turn our attention to the global stage and pick some international shipping and maritime news.
The new government of Syria and CMA-CGM have signed a new agreement to operate the Latakia port, the country's main seaport, which is located on the northern Mediterranean coast. CMA-CGM has operated the port for more than a decade under the regime of Bashar al-Assad. The new government announced in February that it had reached terms with the French group for a new, much longer management agreement, but under revised terms. During the signing ceremony, officials emphasized that the operations would be under state supervision and that the new contract was provided without granting any exceptional operational privileges. CMA-CGM received a new 30-year agreement for port operations. The Syrian Port Authority said the new agreement addressed a settlement of all outstanding obligations and provides for new terms. Hong Kong-based container shipping company Orient Overseas Container Line, a subsidiary of COSCO Shipping Holdings, has ordered a total of 14 methanol-fueled container ships at 2 shipyards in China in a groundbreaking move to future-proof and greenify its fleet. Shipbuilding contracts for 5 units have been signed with Nantong and for the remaining 9 with Dalian, an indirect subsidiary and an associate of COSCO Shipping respectively. Under each of the shipbuilding contracts, OOCL will pay $220 million. The 14 18,500 TEU methanol dual-fuel container vessels are expected to be delivered between the third quarter of 2028 and the third quarter of 2029, the company said in a statement.
It's now time for our Word of the Day segment.
Phrase of the day: transit zones. Transit zones. These are set up in a port of entry in a coastal country and serve as distribution and storage centers for neighboring countries that are landlocked or lack adequate cargo handling facilities. Goods passing through a transit zone are normally not subject to any customs formalities, duties, or import restrictions of the host country.
Our health and safety tip today focuses on parking.
Parking. Mobile plant and equipment should only be parked on firm level ground. The handbrake or other parking brake should be properly applied on all mobile plant and equipment when they are parked. Additional appropriate precautions, such as the use of chocks, should be taken to prevent unintended movement if it is found to be necessary to park on a slope.
It's time to take a look at the schedule of vessels that have berth in the ports of Tema and Takoradi, at the anchorages of both ports, as well as those expected in the coming weeks, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rates, which you may need to know to clear your cargo with. This is where we end today's Iron Pot. We hope you've been informed and educated. Remember, all Iron Pot content can be found on our YouTube channel, Iron Pot. Subscribe, like, share our videos.